With OTAs underway, and we are officially towards the tail end of May, so the real off-season workouts and new starts now. Figured it was time that we address the elephant, if you will, the big kind of question mark going into the offense, and it's not even about David Blau. It's about a certain pass catching position. I figured it's time we look into the search for the wide receiver too. And like I said, I teased this on Monday. I got a very special guest making her BIB debut. With that being said, I say we get right into this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ballin and Burgundy podcast here on YouTube, the one-stop shop for all things great things. Washington Commanders going strong for like 3 years. It's your main event, JD. It's John down back at it again. And like I said, we are on the search. The people are on the search for a wide receiver too, and I could not do this alone. Like I said, making her BIB debut, I would say, and I think Reedy, Z, and Juan would agree, the first lady of the Burgundy breakdown, the first lady now of this Commanders content. That I had to bring in Asia, aka Asia's analysis. Asia, what's happening?
Hey, how's it going? I'm happy to join you, John. You know, I'm one of the OGs with the Burgundy breakdown and what you guys are doing. I used to camp out in the comments section,
Yes,
driving up the engagement
Oh
on
yes,
all the lives. So
oh yes,
yeah, you guys are the reason why I made my page. I think that's a little known Asia's analysis facts. Like, shout out to the Burgundy breakdown and Reedy and Z and Ballin and Burgundy podcast and Juan Gotti talking sports. Like, I used to just get in the comment section, and they were like, "Girl, got to make a YouTube. You got all the ball talk going on." So that's I decided to jump out there and do it. It's been going well so far. I can't complain.
Hey, yeah, dude, it's doing fantastic. You're already in a better spot in like 6 months than we are at in 3 years. So that's a testament to you and your content. So like, shout out to you, Kay, Erica, like killing it in the content community. So no, happy to have you on. And she is not lying. She was the very first like commenter, subscriber for the Burgundy Breakdown channel. So to see you already coming here, it's already great to see.
Nice, yeah. Glad to be here. Ready to talk this wide receiver room. Yeah.
Let's hop right in. So we all know what this wide receiver room looks like. It's an interesting bunch. It's Terry, it's Lukey Pookie, it's Diami, it's Treylon, it's Jalen Lane, it's the vehicle Van Jefferson. You've got your youngsters, Jacoby, Ja'Cory, the Rook, and Antonio AW, Nick Nash, Chris Hilton, Jaden Bradley. It's an assorted bunch.
Yeah. It's Terry and the Pips.
Terry and the Pips. It's fantastic. You're not wrong. It's that is exactly that. Terry and the Pips. It's a room.
Yeah.
It will get the job done for.
It catches too much flack though, because I think
it does.
Wide receivers serve their purpose within the scheme. So just if we're looking for names and just productivity, which I think a lot of people online do, they Google people's stats and then they make snap judgments about the weaponry just based on that. And so I'm not sure I agree with a lot of people on their thoughts on the room, but yeah, I think for today we'll definitely get into that because I see. I have some ideas here, but I don't think the room is as bad as it looks on paper, honestly.
No, I don't think so either. I've kind of come to the forefront on both sides of like it needs help, but also I think we can get the job done. Terry, we know what Terry is. Treylon had a good year for us last year. He played, I think, a handful of games he was in, made the great catch against the Broncos, and you kind of saw him like, oh, we can work with this. He brought him back. Lou's coming off injury. Jalen's your special teams guy, also coming off injury. You brought back Diami after a year in Jacksonville where he did highway robbery for those guys down there.
I love it. I love that for him. Go get your bag, and then you can always come back home. But we were not paying you that money, Diami. I'm sorry.
No, we're not paying you $10 million. Absolutely not. We refuse to pay Chris Paul $10 million, and
people were like, we should have never let him walk. I'm like, fundamentally yes, but for what the overpay that Jacksonville gave him for skill set and what he did. Like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And then he still did nothing because they traded for Jacoby Myers, and you saw Parker Washington
Yeah,
emerge.
because the GM that brought him in is not the GM. They fired that GM to secure Liam Cohen. That's the story.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Yep.
it was a totally different regime that ended up being part of that organization than the one that actually brought him in free agency. So I think he just got phased out because
Yep.
I don't think if Liam Cohen was there, that Diami would have never got that bag. So he lucked up, honestly.
He did. He looked up tremendously. The rookie, like I said, in AW14 and Antonio Williams, the round rookie pick that we all were like, all right, got some work to do with Antonio. And we all saw the tape. We said, all right, most of us at least were hooked. I know a few people that are like, we could have done better. I'm like, I was in that boat, and then I did the research. So here we are.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to be presented with new data, and then you go, yeah, I think I want to change my mind. Let's normalize that in the fan base. I see a lot of people that just feel like they have to die with their initial takes on things. And because a lot of what I do is research based, I have to look into things. Like sometimes we have an initial thought and it's okay, snap judgments, but when you're presented with new data, like just normalize changing your mind.
Yeah, that's been me with some of my own reels. Oh, Jordan McGee will steal the draft. I can't find him. Benson will be a tight end one. I'm eating crow double times on Sunday, so here's that. But Jacoby Jones and Corey Brooks, they're back. Nick Nash, that's the newest name. He was with the Falcons last offseason. He brought in today. And then he brought in Chris Hilton and Jaden Bradley this year on UDFA. So I think if we don't bring anyone, we can make this work. Just got to see who's going to be healthy, what the options are going to look like, what the routes are going to look like, the offensive line blocking schemes. It can work. We're not the Dolphins. We're not the Browns. We're not the Titans because they're still kind of on that bottom contingent. We're not, honestly, we're not Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Theirs is a little weird.
There's some people with there's some people with some questionable wide receiver rooms too. Like I was sitting here because I'm starting to work on my next video, and I was looking at the Seahawks wide receiver room, and I was like, I don't know. There's Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I mean, schematically, like, Rashid Shaheed is dangerous, but he's a one-trick pony, and then Cooper Kupp is a possession receiver. Like, none of these guys scare you in terms of like busting zone coverage. Is only JSN. So I think we just need to understand on a game by game basis, like what you need from a wide receiver is going to be determined by scheme, right? So you can't just look at a depth chart and just decide that, everybody's going to always be successful. I like diversity and skill sets personally for a wide receiver room. And I do think we hit on that, honestly. And when I'm looking at skill set diversity and what we do. So I didn't see that too much last year coming into last year's season. I felt like we were just like bringing bodies in and there was no intentionality to that. And then that showed up. So I think there's a little bit more intentionality here in the skill set diversity, even if the names don't, inspire confidence,
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think we need like a name per se to come in this room. I mean, it's always good for like a marketing standpoint to get the fans and there's a big name next to Terry. It's like doesn't always work the same. Like all of us remember when Terry got drafted, we all went, who?
Yeah. You don't know until you get out there. Right. And I think scheme makes a lot of there's only a handful of wide receivers that come in and they have that type of like talent where they can elevate beyond scheme. But I think for majority of wide receivers in the NFL, the norm is that the scheme actually unlocks the player, right? So, I've been very adamant in that I didn't find Cliff's scheme to be a very pass-happy scheme. I know it's air raid, but it wasn't necessarily progression read. So I don't think it was a scheme that allowed for everyone to eat, so to speak. You had your guys your wide receiver one, Zach, so it's one of those things where it's not like I just didn't see any of these guys getting opportunity for target share in terms of like how that scheme works. So I think the new scheme is going to divvy up that target share a little better.
Yeah, especially with Blouth, like, Terry's going to get 10 targets. He brought back Treylon for obvious reasons. They were high on Antonio, saying he'll play the X, he'll play the Z, he'll play the slot. Like, they were, I mean, outside of the big Lawrence Cager clip that I've killed on numerous occasions,
I think they were just
mentioned
BSing. Like they are
man,
really
man,
mum about the players they messed up on. They don't want to
man,
mention Ben Sinnot's name at all. Like I don't think
not
that
at
means they're
all.
out on them. I think they realize they reached in that draft and he's a developmental prospect. And nobody wants to talk about a developmental prospect that was a second round pick. So I think they kind of messed
In
up
year
there.
3.
Yeah, and I think I was kind of like looking into it a little bit, and apparently we had an offensive analyst, wide receiver coach in that room. So they quietly got an actual tight end coach. So there's a lot going on there, and that I think they go. I think two things can be true. That's the thing people don't like to like. It's like you don't have to be binary in how you think about things. I think two things can be true. Ben Sinnott is developmentally delayed, and he hasn't been good for us, and he hasn't lived up to that second round billing at all. He hasn't.
No.
That's absolutely true. And the other aspect of it is that the scheme was it was ill fitting. So the tight end personnel sets, he never was going to get the targets. He's never going to be a tight end one. He's a fullback, halfback, but there is some utilization in certain types of schemes that I just think that, we're going to see more of that this year. And that he's not good right now. So, I mean, yes, two things can be true. Oh, I think that's my phone. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm doing the same thing. We are getting alerts as we're recording as OTs are taking off. So this is always the fun part is you get alerts of like, oh, Tunsil's in camp today. Who would have thought?
Yeah. It's like
that's the fun part. But this scheme will matter. I think we can work with the personnel, but for the purposes of this video and for the purposes of people who
let's go through the exercise.
Say we need help. Let's have this fun.
We do need a wide receiver too. I'm not gonna say wide receiver too, because I'm more about we need a Z. We need a true Z because we got a lot of and I still think that a lot of modern NFL schemes Z flex. So I still think that's a flex position, but you do kind of in the depth chart. There's still a second consistent boundary with receiver missing. So let's do it. I have ideas.
Let's get into this. The name that has kind of stuck out the past, I'd say 6 weeks. We removed ourselves from the draft 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think you bring him in. He was the current, and then I thought formerly, but is now still the current Mr. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. So
I don't even think he was a former. I don't think she ever broke up with that man. That's my theory. They tried to lay low for a little bit. It was getting a little hot. He had a lot going on. So that's just my insights. I'm letting you know how women think. So when you get out here, you start embarrassing us. We can work through it in private, but you're not going to embarrass me in public. So he has some things going on. But sign Stefon Diggs. So are you ready for me to get into my take, or do you have some thoughts first? All right.
No, I'm letting
you. Let's engage in this exercise as if he doesn't have all that off-field drama, and let's just objectively talk about him and his productivity as a receiver and what he does. And so I actually like the idea of signing Stefon Diggs for the right price because I do think he is one of the more high IQ leverage types of receivers that really do a great job of finding voids and zones. And I'm not going to call him JSN in the route running detail, but he in the moment, he knows how to read and react to what's going on. He's super quarterback friendly in terms of just adjusting his routes and finding those areas in the grass to make himself available for the quarterback. I sincerely think the Patriots are going to take a little bit of a step back because I actually watched them play. And he did a lot for Drake May in terms of just bailing him out. And I'm not saying this as if Drake May is a bad quarterback. I'm saying he took the load off of Drake May to think through kind of those pressures and the coverage and things like that. He saw what was going on at the line of scrimmage and he made the decision to adjust whatever route he was assigned to be there for the quarterback. And all Drake May had to do was look for him. So I really want that for my quarterback, right? And I do think that while we talk about Terry like he's not a top tier wide receiver, I think Terry is really quarterback friendly in terms of what he does. I mean, it was night and day last year. Even though we didn't have a full Terry, things looked way more it didn't look as hard when Terry was in the game last year because he just goes out there and he's just very reliable, right? And when you throw it to him, he catches it, right? So he makes himself available to catch it. Like, so he works really hard. I like when Rio calls him the body catch bandit, because he
I
does
was about to bring
everything
that
in
up.
his, I don't care how you catch a ball, catch it, right? So he does everything in his power to catch the ball. So he is someone that is very quarterback friendly, right? It's not flashy. It doesn't look in the eye test like what Justin Jefferson does, or it's not pretty, but it is. As a quarterback,
Effective.
I love me a Terry type of receiver. So that's how I look at Stefon Diggs, right? And so I like him. Now, I've heard, I think I was watching was it Louis T? And I was looking at his thoughts on this, and he gave a good compelling case about the reasons why we wouldn't bring him in. It has nothing to do with all the offseason shenanigans or anything. It's about their commitment to the development of Antonio Williams as the wide receiver 2, and him getting his snap share. And to that, I say I agree. But also, I saw the Patriots phase Diggs in and out of that offense. And he was a consummate professional about it, right? There were games where he didn't get targets. He was not intentionally schemed in the game. You can very clearly see where he was just not the focus. And so, and he still managed to get like 1,000 yards. So I think you can bring a Stefon Diggs in, and with the idea that, hey, you are a 1-year rental, you're a hired gun, and you don't take priority over what we got going on with Antonio Williams. And I think he's not a AJ Brown type of diva. He is a different type of, he is a diva, but it's a different type of diva. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him show a quarterback up out on the field in the ways that AJ Brown does. Like,
No.
I can't, if you can find an incident, like people like to make it like him and Josh Allen was beefing. No, that him and Dave's had a good relationship. He went out there and was a professional. That was a front office that was like, we're not paying you. Like, you're like, we have to, like, this team belongs to Josh Allen. And so you're not the guy. So I think a lot of that stuff in Buffalo it was not Diggs and Josh Allen's dynamic or Diggs and Dabo's dynamic. It was Diggs in the front office. So, and I've heard Rio say this. I like a receiver that's demanding on the field in terms of get me the ball. Like, so sometimes I don't like that Terry's okay with not getting his targets. Like, I used to see it all the time with Cliff. It's like you would see in some of the mic'd up segments, you can see that in his body language and demeanor, he was frustrated, and you could hear kind of like JD keeping his head in the game, like, I got you, I'm going to find you, right? That scheme just did not prioritize him, and the scheme made it so hard for him. Like, I was watching Pat Surtain do a film breakdown, and he's sitting there talking about how, Cliff always showed this on the film, so we knew it was going to Terry. Like, Cliff did not make Terry's life any easier. When you have defenders sitting on podcasts talking about how, we knew the call was coming and we knew it was going to Terry, like, so like it just it's like I feel bad for Terry and what he was going through. Right? Like yes. That I'm sitting here. I listen to a lot of players talk now, and I listened to that PS2. That was the one thing. And then I remember on one episode where Terry, not is it Terry Arnold?
Terry Arnold.
TA does the podcast with him. TA was on the podcast talking about how he was, because him and JD are buddies, and he literally told JD is like, no, everybody knows you're not going to pass the ball and that you're just going to run it. So it's like, these are what defenders are saying to our quarterback, and that we know your whole playbook. We know what you're going to do. We know that Cliff not really about to pass that ball. We know that he's going to make you run the ball. And people are wondering why our quarterback was getting injured and popped every time he ran out of the pocket. It's because the entire NFL knew the playbook. Like, they were, I'm hearing players on podcasts say, we know what Cliff is going to do. We know Cliff doesn't have a progression read. We know it's going to Terry. We know Cliff is going to run you and not let you pass the ball. So it was just, that scheme was nuts. I can't believe we went anywhere the first year with it, like nuts. So it's like for Terry to eke out that 1,000-yard season, I don't know how he did it. Like, that was all Jayden magic. That was Jayden just making it happen with Terry. And a lot of stuff with Zach Ertz. I've read in a interview, someone told me that Patrick Mahomes, y'all can Google this, said that when he was under Cliff at Texas Tech, he never threw to a tight end. The tight end wasn't a legitimate receiver in the scheme. So all this stuff with Zach Ertz was really Jayden just like loving on Zach Ertz. Like, so I don't think people from a passing, that's why I'm like, I understand people look at the history of last year and how the wide receivers didn't do much. And you're looking at that data and you're coming into it and it was like, gosh, like these guys don't excite me. I think we need to take a beat there and kind of reassess after this year. Cause I'm telling you now, that Cliff Kingsbury playbook makes it really, really hard for wide receivers to get busy either way. And that is the defenders on podcasts saying this about Cliff. It's not me. I like the idea of signing Stefon Diggs for the right price with this, letting him know, like, you're not the wide receiver 2 here. Like, don't come in here with wide receiver 2 energy. We are still prioritizing our draft pick. He's the future of the room. You are a hired gun and a hired rental. And Stefon's so desperate to come here and play and come home. I think he'll be fine with that. Like, so I like it based on how I see Stefon Diggs moving. He feels like he just wants to settle down and then start to think about closing out his career. And he wants to kind of come back home and kind of retire home and be close to home. So I don't think he'll be a diva about this. And I do like him in that room with his IQ, working with the young Antonio Williams and kind of like helping with his development. So like that can only help him. So I was at first against it, but I'm all the way on this sign Stefon Diggs train.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback off 2 things. First of all, now looking back on that whole the Cliff Kingsbury offense and the whole
you've shown me that I can treat you horrible and you going to stay.
That was us with Cliff. He killed us year 2 and we said, bring him back.
Yeah.
CT, you were right.
I was in y'all's comments going, no, he sucks. I was saying, y'all remember I remember folks was blaming the players and why would he play that? I was like, absolutely not. He's terrible. I think it was me and Z. Me and Z was like, it's the scheme.
You and Z.
It was me and Z. Z knows.
Z knows. Sorry, Rudy. I'll see you on Monday, buddy. Sorry, Z. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not sorry. We killing y'all this week.
I know, right?
But no, I initially I was like, I do not need Banana Boat 2.0. I don't need Diggs on this roster. Too much off the field. You can't pay your chefs, hitting on your chefs. Like, I don't need this. All right, now that's out the water. You look at the film, you look at the stats, you look at the production, you're like, you need someone there to help vet the young guys. And you brought in Van Jefferson, but he's been on the Titans, the Rams. There's another team he was on. Like, we know what Van Jefferson is in this point in his career. And Diggs brings another element that Van just doesn't have, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But then he brought up that point of that can impact Antonio Williams' development. And I said, yeah, if you the Diggs conversation is going to be the 2-headed spear of the 4 ideas that are kind of the inklings of this whole offseason is you got to get a wide receiver 2. Yes, bring in Diggs. You now sacrifice Antonio Williams' development. Don't bring in Diggs. You might rush Antonio. Unfortunately. I don't think they're going to rush him, but I feel like that can go both ways. If you sign him, you do great. If you don't sign him, something's going to be sacrificed.
Yeah. You might rush his development to the point where you put a lot of pressure on him, right? I think it impacts his development either way, but let's impact it in a positive way. And I still think I think the way the David Blau offense is going to work, you can still get him his targets, right? So Diggs doesn't have to necessarily eat into his targets as a wide receiver 3 type of focus. No. That's why you bring him in. I know we're talking about him like he's a wide receiver 2, but if you change the thinking in that, okay, we are treating our rookie like a wide receiver 2 and Diggs is a wide receiver 3, then that target share kind of gets divvied out, kind of with that approach in mind.
Yeah. No, it's a great approach. I think this is going to be the one. It's like, if it happens, this is between the 2 signings compared to the other things I have coming up. This feels more likely now than the next person I'm going to bring up, just purely based on money. And with that being said, idea number 2, he has been the topic of 2.5 off seasons. at this rate. As soon as Jayden came into the league, it was like, oh, are they going to get him back? And now we are, what is today? Today is the 27th. We are now 5 days away from the day he is supposed to be quasi-released from prison. It is Brandon Aiyuk.
All right.
Wait and sign.
I was definitely on the wait and sign Brandon Aiyuk. And then as this dragged on, and I do think I am one of those people that in the camp that I think this is his team kind of like helping to force him out, and they're doing all this. So this is not some wide receiver that went off the rails. This feels very strategic, and they're not, when they say they can't get in touch with Brandon Aiyuk, you don't do business directly with the player anyway. You do the business with the agent. They can't get in touch with his agent. Like his agent is stonewalling them. So all of these like leaked stories and the framing is like, dude, like you talk contract with the agent. So like anybody picking up the phone or call Brandon Aiyuk to talk about renegotiating his contract, that's with the agent. So I really like that little smear campaign they got going on over there. They working overtime, but like, buddy, you talk to the agent. He's got the same. He's over there in David Mulugheta's group. He's not David Mulugheta's client, but it's the same agency. So
yeah,
you already know how they don't play over there. And it's very ironic that some of these GMs, some of these old school GMs struggle with David Mulugheta, because I don't think they play over there when it comes to their clients and their worth. And if the situation ain't set up nice for them, they push their way out. And the way they do that is by demanding a trade. So that is the playbook for that agency. We saw it with Micah. Now we're seeing it with, he can't demand a trade because things kind of fell apart. So they're kind of forcing their way out by kind of just playing the leverage game. So you lose leverage when you make it known that you don't like him. And you don't plan to integrate him into like your future plans. Like, so I don't know what the 49ers are doing, but you have lost leverage. And then you lose leverage when the player hasn't been seen playing on the field for dang near, was it 2 years now? Yeah,
2 years.
Coming up a knee injury. Like nobody's calling you for him. No one is calling you for him. So listen.
The last game he played, Game 7 of the 2024 season.
Yeah, like nobody's giving up capital for you today. See that man pass a physical, and you saw what the Ravens did with like Max Crosby. Like, come on, don't play these games, y'all. So this is all petty nonsense. Let me get that out of the way. Sender. Yeah, so I didn't have a problem with we gonna wait and see, because this is kind of a steal. If it turns out that he's in shape and he's ready to get back into form, this would be the heist of the century in terms of a skilled player for a wide receiver that had the productivity he had, and he's still young, so his trajectory, he can still ascend, right? So it's not like some older wide receiver that's on the tail end of his career, right? So I was like, wait, AP, don't give up, just wait. Now with that being said, it's taking too long, because last year we were sitting around with this offseason shenanigans with Terry, and we saw how that kind of like messed up the whole time on task, getting integrated into the install package and the playbook and stuff like that. So I'm one of those people that's starting to look like that, and I'm not with that, because once I've seen proof of concept of what that looks for our quarterback. Jayden don't work well in those situations. You can't just bring a quarterback in to the tail end of training camp and think he's a rhythm quarterback. He has to kind of like be working with his wide receivers all off season and be on time, on task, and working that rhythm out. So even if we get him later this summer, I just don't see him taking the field right away. So what like value is that to us if we look at the schedule, right? So we kind of need him right away. So if post June 1, they don't release him, and I've heard a lot of mixed things in that some people feel like it's about to happen any day now. And so don't worry about it. And then others are like, they're like the 49ers are kind of dug in. So we're going to have to wait and see. But I do not, if this dude is not released within the first couple of weeks of post June 1, we got to start moving on, right? Because I really want him to be part of the offseason program. We have not seen him play football in years. And like, you have to build up those calluses, right? You have to, like, just being in shape. We saw that like Terry was kind of working out, and then they was like Terry was in the bubble throwing, catching passes from Jayden, but it's not the same at working at that game speed, right? So
Nope.
it's like I'm not comfortable with that. So wait and sign Brandon Aiyuk, yes, to the extent that it doesn't drag out too much post June 1st, right? Because I do think that he's a little younger than Diggs, and you can kind of like you can bring him in with the future in mind beyond just him being a 1-year rental. So
Right.
you're bringing Brandon Aiyuk in with the mindset that he is going to be a legitimate part of, if this works out, he's a part of your wide receiver core as the Z and for the future. And then now you have an established room that has that chemistry for years to come and grows with the quarterback. So I like Brandon Aiyuk with that thought process, but I don't like it if it's going to take too long and then you're going to get him really late, kind of like how we did with Treylon, and then you have to ramp him up, right? And so if you have to do that, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to sign both of them. Like you're going to have to sign both of them. You're going to have to sign Aiyuk and Diggs. Like if that's what we're doing, then you're not saving money, AP, because you're going to have to sign both of them. So like he got to be a little bit more decisive about what he's doing here. And you know, we got a lot of cap. So I mean, he could theoretically do both, right?
He could.
This is about how desperate Diggs is to get here. Are you willing to take a pay cut in an incentive-based contract as a hired gun?
He's gonna have to.
So yeah, I do like the wait and sign Brandon Aiyuk with that context in mind. And if it's gonna take a half a year to get it ramped up, then I want both of them. Like I want Diggs and Aiyuk.
I mean, that point fair. Everyone who's tuned into BIB, TBB, whether I've been on Grants or Rio or anybody else's channel, y'all know I'm essentially anti-Aiyuk.
You're anti this, yes.
I am anti-Aiyuk. I should make a t-shirt and sell anti-Aiyuk. No, because I'd get copyright. I just like for me, it's the 2-year thing. I have not seen you play ball in 2 years. You are the 2024 Martavius Bryant, the 2024 Michael Gallup. I ain't seen you play ball in 2 years. Yeah. I don't care that you were great 2 years ago. So was Instagram. So was Snapchat. So was McDonald's. And it's trash now.
Yeah, that is true. I like that.
Like you can't give me the same quality 2 years ago. A marriage ain't the same 2 years ago as it is now. The presidency was different 2 years ago than it is now. Things have changed.
I like that. I like the analogy of like the brand new car that you drive off a lot. It will depreciate. So you don't have it's not going to have the same quality either way.
No.
So then combine that with the injury. Like I get what you're saying.
Yeah. The injuries, the fact that I mean, you were speeding across the stadium at 125 and a 70
around the stadium. Like I don't that. Like he took it too far.
I don't need Speed Racer in DC. I didn't realize you were an honorary degree member of the University of Georgia. I don't need this in DC.
That was very immature. I think in his defense, he was trying to tank his trade value. So he was trying to come across like a mental case. So other teams,
I think it was already shot. I don't think there was any trade value to begin with.
Yeah, like he didn't need to do that. You are coming off a blown knee, bro. Nobody's trading for you. You don't need to be here acting out. Like
absolutely not. There is no reason. Now, I'm with everyone on board. I've agreed with you, Reedy, Z, Juan, Rio, Josh, Kay. He is young. There is room to grow. He probably won't act this way because Jayden's his boy. He's back with Rashad White. We have the Arizona State Commanders or the Washington Sun Devils, however you want to put it. I just think I would rather take this money, go get a second, go get a fifth or sixth corner, go get a different D tackle, go bring in Diggs. Like the fact that the last time you played a fully healthy season, technically, was 2022 at a full 17 games. He played 16 games in 2023, 7 games in 2024.
Yeah.
I can do better with Diggs, unfortunately.
You have proof of concept with Diggs. You've seen Diggs get a 1,000-yard receiver after his knee injury. You've seen it, right? Yep. So you trust it. You feel like, okay, he's better. Mm-hmm. You just have not seen it with Brandon Aiyuk. No. So I think it's very fair coming off of that type of injury. And the only time we see Brandon Aiyuk, we don't see him in workout videos or nothing. He's just like, I can't figure out how you look in street clothes because you always look like you look ragged. No offense to him, but every time I see a picture of him, I'm like, he does not look
money.
Yeah, like it's like, can
cars.
you show us something else? Because you don't seem to be thinking about football, dude. That's the only thing. Like, I think he's into football for what it provides for him,
Right.
but I don't think he is passionate about football. And that's, you got to be locked in. 'Cause
Anymore.
we have people in this building that are legitimately locked in, and they're sold into what we're trying to build here, and they're sold into y'all got the quarterback, and we want to help get y'all over. Every free agent that's come through that door has said y'all are like, and this is where the fan base bothers me, because stop listening to the outside noise and the pundits and people that are using Jayden Daniels' name for clickbait. If that's a thing, he drives the algorithms crazy. So
He
it's like
does.
you mention his name, it just, the engagement goes through the roof. A lot of this stuff when they're talking about our quarterback is very engagement farming and clickbait, right? I listen to what actual players that play the game say about our quarterback, and all of them sit in these interviews and gush over the quarterback. And these are people that have played with Drake May.
Yep.
These are people that have played with Patrick Mahomes. These are people that have played with other good quarterbacks. And they are like, I came over here because I felt like the Commanders are just a few pieces away from taking this thing all the way. And I want to be that piece that helps them get there. That has been kind of a consistent thing with all the free agents that's come over. So, I mean, the insecurity we have about this team, the fan base, is weird. And then some of the outside noise that people talk about our fan base is like, it's because they're not tapped into anything we're doing. So they just, they speak out. But the players are looking over here like they got something going on over there, and I want to be a part of that. And I respect how the players who play the game feel. And the quarterback is it. And that's all they talk about is our quarterback. And they come over here because they feel like the quarterback about to take us to the promised land that everybody saw last year for what it was. Everybody who plays this sport, not the talking heads, that they ignored it. All those free agents that came in was like, we saw it was the injuries. Like, people saw it for what it was. It wasn't the quarterback. It was the injuries. So
injuries, bad coaching, like.
Yeah, so Stefon Diggs want to come here. Come on now. He is a diva wide receiver begging to come play with our quarterback. Why do you think that is? This man is 30-something years old. His entire contract is basically incentives, and he is trying to beg to get here because he knows the quarterback is going to get him paid and blow up his production. So, let's stop acting like our quarterback ain't him. Y'all be making me mad. I'm getting tired of the discourse. I don't care what a Cam Newton or any of those other people say. They're not in DC. They don't know. I'm listening to the players, but yeah, like I need, everybody who comes through that door is super locked in. And this ain't I'm here just to get paid or to blow my market value up. All those free agents, it came through the door like, I feel like we could take this thing all the way. So I'm just, Brandon, you got to lock in, bro. Because now that's the only thing. Like, you cannot have this mindset that you're only here because your friend is here. Right. And you trying to vibe. Like, I think the days of vibing are over with this new regime. David Blau and Durante Jones is not giving me vibey. They're not giving me vibey. They're giving me locked in and get these details straight, or you can go too. So they don't play favorites. So yeah, that's the only thing I have concerns about, because I just saw what Diggs did in terms of locking in and helping that team get to where they went last year. So I get your mindset in that. I don't trust it.
Like Juan, I think was reading a Juan, we're like, man, Michael Gallup can make this team. I'm like, you realize he's a camp body, right? He came in for 125 flat, not even 120, but he came in for 25 flat to make this practice squad, get him a couple free meals, get him some rehab, and they were to cut him anyways. Martavis Bryant, same idea. At this rate, if Aiyuk doesn't want to come, he just doesn't come. I'm not gonna wait and break the bank. Like, no, if we get to June 1st, like I said, it's 5 days away. If we get to my birthday, which is June 17th, which is 2 weeks from a little more than 2 weeks from June 1st, and he still ain't signed, move the hell on.
Yeah.
Just keep it moving. Roll with it. Go get Diggs. Maybe go get these two other ideas I've got. Go get someone else. Figure it out.
Yeah. We shouldn't be at this point still having this conversation. So that's why I'm going to shoot him some bail after June 1st, right? Like, I just think that they work in waves. And I think we had our first free agency wave, and then there's the draft. And then there's kind of that little second period of free agency where they just randomly pick people up. And then it's the post June 1st, so I think maybe we might see some stuff happen post June 1st. But, I think AP catches too much slack, and I get it. But it's only his third year as a GM. I think last year was a learning curve for him because he's used to being in that established kind of building with the 49ers where he made his name on draft and develop and late round draft picks. And so I think he navigated free agency through that same lens in terms of you can bring in projects and you can't do that. You even saw where this year they went BPA. Like, a lot of the rookies they brought in could be like actual starters with how like the talent level. So I think he learned his lesson in that. Like, some of these players are the floor and they need to stay the floor. And we were trying to pass players that were actually the floor of the room off as like starters. And that's kind of what fell apart for us. So I think he's learned some lessons, and he understands the difference now. That Antonio Williams pick lets me know he understands the difference now.
100%. The two other ideas that have been floated recently, have been floating for the past year, kind of are now turning into nuclear options, I would say, because they're so at this rate unrealistic. Because we finally have 7 draft picks going to 2027, and people, I guess, don't want 7 draft picks; they want 3. With these two ideas,
like, we went from complaining about not like people were mad. We traded for one of the future Hall of Fame offensive tackle and Laramie Tunsil giving up draft picks, but then the same people are trying to trade away picks for Pete. I need people to get off Madden franchise. I understand, like those type of players, like offensive linemen, just don't like it's the Madden franchise crowd. Like the skill position players, just throw draft picks away and go get people, but when we go get a stud left tackle to protect our like quarterback's blind side, like it's like they complain about that. It's just so weird.
It's fantastic to see, because in hindsight, the Laramie Tunsil trade was a slam dunk trade. Looking back, I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger on that Marshawn trade. Yes, he was supposed to be an upgrade to Forbes and St. Groupie, St. Flag.
Remember when that happened though? Other teams were in play for him, so I think like the Saints pulled off a heist and they kind of hid him because he hadn't played for. He had the hamstring, and then they just didn't put him back out there. And so now you just are falling in love with his tape, which he put some good stuff on tape. But inside the building, only the coaches know when somebody's a head case or they have like bad habits in terms of film study and technique and stuff like that.
And it just never.
Yeah, like once we got him, I realized like, oh, you are on a decline. It's not just like a physical thing with like injuries, where I just think they felt like a lot of his productivity was about the injuries. And then once they got him back right, he'd be back to old Marshawn. No, that guy couldn't play leverage. He was such a low IQ corner, and he relied too much on physicality. And that's just not how modern NFL is played. Like I listen to Pat Surtain sit up on podcasts, and it's all IQ stuff. It's all film study. It's all like he does so much film study as a corner. He happens to have the tools in his body, but 90% of what he does is film study. He studies his opponent. And so a lot of what I saw from Marshawn is just a lot of playing the opponent and making every game an individual matchup between him and an opponent, instead of just playing within a scheme and playing the ball and doing things to just be fundamentally sound. So like that, just you gotta let a player like that go. So that was a bad trade. Like, but I don't think anybody could have foresaw that. Like that just
Hindsight 2020. So no, I'm with you on that one. And with these next two options, I think fans will be for one and question me with this other one. First one, I'm going the lesser of the two. I'm probably dropping this dud of a nuke. It's Kayshon Boutte.
It's gonna be a quick one for me. Like,
we're
not giving up draft collateral for a project. Like, I feel like he's basically Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey, and somebody might kill me for that because they saw him over in that Patriot system. That's coordinator magic over there. Like that, y'all are not giving that Patriots coordinator enough credit for like how he got that system in place. That like Drake May is a system quarterback.
Nope.
I saw what happened when the system broke down and the coordinator didn't have the answers. That's what it looked like in Super Bowl, right? That's what it looks like when your coordinators do not have a answer for a system quarterback. Then he gets out there and he forgets how to play football, right? So, I just Kayshon Boutte, what year is he? Like, was he like about to be out of his rookie contract?
Yeah, he was drafted in 2023, so this will be year 4.
Yeah, I've seen his name floating. I've seen he's feeling like with AJ Brown potentially coming in that again he's not going to get his targets. But bro, the fact that they keep bringing in veteran wide receivers, and so they did it last year with Diggs. They're doing it again this year. So they went and got Dobbs. And then and they're trying to bring in AJ, but there's something on the tape that is letting me know you are not it. So I mean, you might as well invest in the development of Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey, further down your roster or depth chart, because they're basic. It's the same type of developmental player in the room, and so just don't give up. You don't give up collateral for a player like that, right? Now, if he walks or gets released or he's waived or like you don't have to give up anything for him, that's fine. But when I saw this, and maybe because I watched the Patriots play and I understand what's going on over there, and I just use logic. Every season they keep bringing in veteran wide receivers because like it's you. It is you. They are seeing something in the evaluation of the tape in the offseason
that they don't
and you're not getting the targets. That was a very smart, and he found a way to incorporate Kayshon Boutte. I saw Kayshon Boutte do some things, so it wasn't like he wasn't integrated part of that team or used. They just don't see you as being a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. You are further down the depth chart, and I think that's going to be his career. So I'm not giving up any type of collateral for a player like that. I think people just see a name and they don't like our room, so go get that person, and the person is just as bad as the other wide receivers we have in the room.
No, this is the name on the bottom of my list. Like I would take Aiyuk over Boutte, and I don't think it's close. Like I agree, Boutte put up last year 551 and 6. Luke was on track for that. Jalen Lane, if he had played fully healthy, would have been about half of that.
Yeah.
But he put all of that on special teams.
Yeah. And what special teams value, what value do you bring to us as a wide receiver deeper down in the depth chart as a wide receiver 3 or 4? Because as much as we like to talk trash about like Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane, their special teams value cannot be, you can't measure what they get, like what they give us on special teams justify them being in the wide receiver room. And y'all know how I feel about Jalen Lane taking up a freaking depth chart position in the wide receiver room. Like I hate it. I wish they actually, not because I dislike Jalen Lane, I just want them to have a depth chart position that like doesn't count against the wide receiver room for a punt kick. Like they carve that out so we can like. So that's the only thing I hate about it. It's more about the roster management. But I think they're gonna. Look, man, Debo took his gadget snaps away. Like you had 2 gadget. And he wasn't even that, Debo wasn't fast. It was like, dang, like you could have had Jalen Lane on some Cavante Turpin type. Like if you really
or Luke,
or like if you understood how to use him, like Jalen Lane's going to get his gadget guy snaps back. Because Debo's not in the room no more. I see people keep asking to bring Debo back. I was like in my comments today, and somebody was like, yeah, like this Antonio Williams is going to pair well with like with Terry and Debo. And I was like, Debo not even on the team. Like, what are we doing here as a fan base? That man is not on the team anymore. And then I had somebody else that was like, just bring Debo back and turn him into a tight end and then cut Ben Sinnott. And I was like, y'all are wilding. Get off Madden franchise. Because this is, or like, y'all got to go back to 1067 The Fan or something. Like, get out my comments with this nonsense. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be showing out on your page, John, but like
no, your turn Debo into a tight end is fantastic.
Yes, like the wildest stuff. Like people do not, you know what's the problem? Like we got Madden, raising a whole generation
Mhm.
of like football watchers. Like they don't actually watch football. They don't know anything about the game. They're not educated about the game. They just sit up and play Madden all day, and then they start getting on the internet trying to talk ball with people with these stupid takes. Like, so they're right. What they do, they're on Madden, they're watching highlight reels, and then they looking at PFF and box scores, but haven't watched a single game. So it's like, this is stuff I'll be dealing with. This is why I like, that's why I made my page, man. Like, I need a safe space for ball knowers, because I couldn't take it no more. That's why I was always cutting up in your comment section.
And it worked every time. Turn people into a tight end. What are you on? Just where's my
So what kind of narcotic do you have?
like, what are we doing around here?
Yeah,
absolutely
like,
not.
Like, sometimes, like, so yeah, when I saw that today where it was like, yeah, this guy paired well with Debo, I was like, my brother in Christ, Debo not even on the team no more. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? We gotta lock in as a fan base. We gotta lock in, y'all. We gotta do a little bit better, because like sometimes it's a little embarrassing.
It is. It very, very much is, and it's a mess.
Yeah,
it's absolutely a mess. But the last piece of this trade ensemble, because Kayshon Boutte I was like, oh, let's test the waters. It was never gonna happen. This one people have been clamoring for, and I don't think they would trade this guy to us. I think he could be a Patriot or an Eagle if they actually want to pull the trigger. I'm talking BTJ.
Now, I was ignoring this for the longest because I was like, he's a first round draft pick. Ain't no way. Like, you don't give up on a first round draft pick. And what he did is rookie. I was like, but then I had to remind myself the GM and coaching staff that drafted him is no longer there anymore. So I really do think they're shopping him. And so I think I was listening to Rio talk about this, and he was like, a second round draft pick for next year. I get that up. And then I was sitting there like, yeah, because that's literally around the second round is where you're probably looking for a receiver or something, just from a position value. I think it's like it's a nice, as far as like just giving up that. I don't know what they're asking for, because they still haven't. I think they may be asking for too much for him. Like, I think they're over, like, their understanding of his value is like, y'all are deleveraging him. Y'all are devaluing him by shopping him around. Like, you cannot sit up here and take a like first round draft pick and then throw him away and not have people go, well, he clearly is of no value to you, so we're not giving you a first round pick for him. Like, absolutely not. Like, so I think it's like, when I looked at like kind of the wide receivers he's kind of bringing in, every time I see a wide receiver kind of like tied to them, it is like a wide receiver, like a route runner, like a like hands guy, like a leverage guy, like what's the special teamers that he came in and took everybody's job. Parker Washington? Is that his name?
Washington.
Yeah, my man, I was looking at tape on him. My man got the release skills. He got the slot action. He is a route runner. He be cooking DBs. So I was like, oh, okay. So I think I was like, wait a minute, I need to tap into this. I think, like, I don't know, pick up that phone and offer them a second round pick. Because like, I like him for a Z outside boundary, right? Like, I think that's just what's missing, right? He don't need to come in and do nothing crazy. Like, we got Antonio Williams, we got our route technician. So, and I think that is the issue with Liam Combs. I think he needs guys that can work the middle of the field. And I watched Brian Thomas Jr. and a lot of the drops and stuff. He get alligator arms when you have him. I think they try to work him in between the numbers a little bit, and he was just not comfortable. So I think he is a true boundary receiver. I think he has an underdeveloped route tree in terms of like what you can do with him. And I just don't think like that's not what Liam Cohen wants for his playbook and for his quarterback. No. So I do think they're shopping him. And I don't think it's because he's not good anymore. I just think he's not a scheme fit for them anymore. Yeah. So they need a different type of wide receiver because it's a different regime. So I think he's a little too one-dimensional for them and what he does. He's still a speed, big body, take the top off, so you can bring him in for a second-round draft pick, and then you can continue to, like, build out this young wide receiver core. So then you got kind of like a You know, you got Antonio Williams for the slot. He's a slot Z flex, so he can play on the outside too. Then you got a Brian Thomas Jr. I like that. And then you still got a good floor of the room with, like, you know, a De'Ami Brown, Treylon Burks, and a nice little gadget, you know, because I think people feel like De'Ami and Treylon are going to get cut, and I don't see it. I see kind of Van Jefferson being the odd man out, because I see Treylon Burks as a possession receiver, big body possession receiver when you need a third down and whatever, and got to get it. And then a red zone target with his, because people don't understand, when you get in a red zone, ain't a lot of grass. There's not a lot of grass to work in terms of running routes. So you need 50-50 big body receivers. Treylon Burks making a team. We don't have a lot of big body, and he's a true hands receiver. So they don't need Treylon Burks to do a lot. He also is someone that every year is going to allow you to sign him for the cheapest amount of money. He is so happy in Washington. He has accepted that his career as a first round draft pick is over. He's not chasing anything. So he's like, I'm ready to settle into my role as I keep the floor elevated, and I'm going to do whatever you need me to do. And you know, coaches, front offices, GMs, people who are responsible for managing that roster and cap, they love them type of wide receivers, right? Like, there's no ego with him. He's not going to come in the room looking for target share. You're going to bring me in when we get into the red zone. I just need to go in there and win one-on-one and be a big body for Jayden. Oh, it's third and short. I need to go in here and be a big body target and give catch radius. So I got Treylon making a team. I think that De'Ami serves purpose. De'Ami is a nice take the top off type of receiver on the outside, but the screen passes and things like that, you heard him in his documentary. He said it. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be the guy when I go in and I do the screen action, and then on those plays where it's like all out go, take the top off, like he's that type of receiver. So we're talking about two receivers that elevate the floor, that have very clear functional roles in the scheme. They're not releasing them. I'm sorry. So I have De'Ami and Treylon making it. So this is all about kind of wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, kind of, you know, and Jalen's not going anywhere. Like, y'all are going to see now that we have a better defense and we can actually play the field position game. His value is going to show a little bit more this year, in terms of, like, they're going to be kicking that ball pinned back, and he's going to be catching it kind of midfield, and he's just going to take it home. Like, so it's like, that's why you kind of like hold on to him. So I kind of have it where it's like, you know, I still see Antonio Williams as wide receiver 2, but I like a Brian Thomas to slide in there for the future. And with he's still super young. He was like a rookie only a couple years ago. So
this is year 3 for him.
Yeah, so I think, like, you can do some things with him and his speed and just kind of his size, and then you can't underscore that chemistry with Jayden. Jayden's a rhythm chemistry quarterback. Once he has a feel for his wide receivers, that's why he spammed the heck out of Zach Ertz, because he just had that feel with Zach Ertz. So it's like, you know, you can't. So I like the idea of this is in a scenario where we don't get a Diggs or a Aiyuk, right? Like, that's the scenario. Like, I don't mind giving up a second round pick for Brian Thomas, because at first I thought it was because of the performance issues. I kind of watched this team play and I saw it.
Yeah.
But then I also had time to sit with this, and I just was like, I think he's not a scheme fit. And I don't believe in giving up on a player because he's not a scheme fit. And because the new regime just was like, you were not my guy. Like, maybe if I was in the room drafting, I would not have drafted you as a first round wide receiver, because I need more slot flex. It sounds like they need more slot flex type of like receivers, and I don't think he can flex much. I think he does what he does very well, but that is all he does. He's a boundary receiver, and so I think that's why it's not working out with him. And I think that's why De'Ami got phased out down there, because De'Ami don't have a fully developed route tree.
Nope. Well, De'Ami never really has, if we're all being completely honest. But like their receiving core right now at Jacksonville, it's BTJ, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, Trav Hunter, Josh Cameron. Those are your starting 5. Josh Cameron being the rookie out of Baylor, the 6'1", 200. He was a later round guy I was scouting for us. But like, Jacoby Myers had a really good year once he got traded out there. Parker Washington's been balling out. They're going to move Trav back to defense, but you're going to see him sprinkled in. Josh Cameron's a 6'1" guy with speed, so they're going to use him. BTJ now
odd
becomes
man out. Yeah, he's a very expensive. Once he I think they would like to get some collateral for him because I just don't. I don't think they see themselves giving him a extension because of how high he was drafted. Is his value, right? They want to devalue him so they don't have to give him a big contract, right? That's what that's about. So, and I don't like that for him. So I would just rather they just go ahead and just because that's kind of the situation that happened with Brandon Aiyuk in San Fran when they saw he started getting busy and he was going to become an expensive player on his next contract. They tried to kind of slowly phase him out just to devalue him a little bit, and so that's where it started. So sometimes organizations do shady stuff like that. So I do feel like kind of what they're doing down there with him is a little shady.
I would agree. It's just not talked about because it's a good wide receiver room.
Yeah,
a young guy with a new it doesn't mean as much.
I think
in the
they're
AFC.
doing a better job with the PR around this. Every time it comes up, they clearly deny it, but it's not coming from anywhere. So usually where there's smoke, there's fire. So but they're definitely they're definitely shopping them. But I think they do a good job of managing in the media. So you don't want to give the young wide receiver a complex. He probably already has money anyway with all the trade rumors.
I'm sure. And the fact that the biggest talking points in Jacksonville is always, is Trevor Lawrence going to succeed or not? Is their stadium going to get an upgrade? Can Tony Khan keep his money and, actually let AEW work? There's bigger talking points than BTJ's trade value for them right now.
Yeah. Yep.
So then the one final thing, and this is for you, this is for the viewers, this is for the commenters. Are there any other options or ideas that, whether it's someone being elevated, a free agent, or someone I completely missed, would help this room out?
I like the room. Now, I do think you need another veteran, but for the scheme and where you need the production to come from, I like Terry as a wide receiver 1.
Yep.
I like really just everybody buying into a 3rd round pick, being a wide receiver 2. He's that good. So if nobody would be going, who's going to be the wide receiver 2 if Antonio Williams was drafted in the 1st round? That would be kind of he's the wide receiver 2 because you took him in the 1st round. Well, y'all, he was a 1st round
or even
talent.
in the 2nd round.
Yeah, he was a 1st round talent that slipped, not because of him. Somebody asked me this.
Why do you think he
slipped to the wide receiver 3? Because Clemson sucked. That team was kind of middling in the pack in the ACC, or they were not in the tops of that conference. And so, and then his quarterback was Cheeks. So there were some circumstances that led to Antonio and he had some injuries. But the injury things for me wasn't even, he puts out good tape. So he slipped. He slipped because his team was bad. And his quarterback tanked his value because wide receivers can't throw to themselves. Okay. So his numbers came down because his quarterback forgot how to play quarterback, and that's not his fault. I really do appreciate that we honored his tape, though. And honestly, as someone who was watching the draft, I don't think people remember that run of tight ends that came off the board. And they were I was sitting there who are these tight ends? They just everybody started drafting tight ends back to back
Jacksonville.
to back. Yeah, and so it pushed a lot of the wide receivers that would have went in the 2nd round. It pushed them down the board. He honestly started coming off the board when all the other wide receivers started coming off the board. So the wide receivers all started coming off the board kind of in the 3rd round late. So that is front offices letting you know they are trying to reset the market on the wide receiver position value when they start taking that skill position group later in the draft. And you can thank Alec Pierce and all these mid wide receivers who got $30 million contracts in the offseason. That wide receiver market is we pay mid wide receivers $30 million, John. I don't think Alec Pierce is on that. But my man was about to get paid more than Terry. So the wide receiver market is crazy. And so the front offices is trying to get that back on track. So they push all the wide receivers down the board. And it also lets you know the fact that tight ends are coming off the board. Because I talked about this on my show, and that a lot of tight ends are now playing flex zeros. They're the Z receivers. So instead of front offices getting a big body wide receiver that they have to pay wide receiver money to, they're drafting tight ends. The Chicago Bears have Cole Kmet. Coaston Loveland, and the
Loveland.
first player they took in the draft was a tight end. He took another tight
Sam
end.
Roush.
So yeah, I'm telling you, like the Eagles took Eli Stowers. Like, so the tight ends are starting to be utilized in the wide receiver type of scheme in terms of like the routes and they're kind of the flex Z. They play a flex zero. So sometimes they take a wide receiver with route running skills and flex them into the zero. So y'all might see Chig out there as the boundary receiver in some plays, because he can run real wide receiver routes. He just happens to have a bigger frame and body that kind of slides him into kind of the wide receiver conversation. So, and I think that's kind of like these big, tall, like that's why you kind of see the BT. He's a big body wide receiver that has a route tree of a tight end. So it's like, I'm not paying you wide receiver money, dude. Like, I'm going to give me a tight end.
Exactly. So, I mean, I understood the style respect though, because like Goddard's on the lot, like he got a 1-year extension and they had no other tight ends on the roster. I was like, all right, I got you on the style respect.
Yeah. The third tight end for Chicago, they was looking at Ben Johnson like, wait a minute, your defense sucked last year. Like, why you in no defense?
I was texting Bears fans because I essentially work with a Bears fan. Shout out Brandon over on Chicago Sports Podcast. And I was like, tight end in the second?
He said, my man said, look, he said when they interviewed him, they asked him about that. He was like, yeah, no, we just going to coach defense better. I was like, all right, Ben Johnson, you got it. He blamed the coach. He's like, he wanted his tight end. Listen, man, y'all about to see Coaston Loveland as the Z receiver out there. Y'all about to see Luther Burton and Luther Burton and Roma Dunze flexing slot X receiver, and you about to see Coaston Loveland as the Z. I'm telling you, he about to turn him into
Brandon
Z
Marshall
receiver
out here.
Yeah, like it's crazy. So yeah, I was like, what you cooking up over there, Ben Johnson? What you got going on?
Yeah, right.
So you already got 2 good tight ends. Like, so but yeah, it's crazy. But my idea is just to lean into Luke McCaffrey as a wide receiver 3. And I'm going to tell you why. You gotta evaluate Luke within the context of everyone else. Okay. So it's a progression read system now, play action progression read. And I like Luke McCaffrey in a progression read, and this is why. Because your defense is they're going to account for Chig, Antonio Williams, and Terry, which means that leaves Luke McCaffrey left for a safety or linebacker to cover him. So Luke's not going to get someone's quarterback 1 or cornerback 2. And somebody's safety linebacker going to have to pick up Chig. And so he's going to get those mismatches in a progression read. And Luke has sure hands, and he catches whatever you throw to him, so he doesn't drop passes. So I like him in a progression read system for Jayden when all of my options, and I've gone through my progression read and everything, I know Luke's going to be open and he going to catch the ball. And usually when he catches the ball, he take it to the end zone. Because he's athletically, there's a mismatch he's exploiting. So he usually is going up against a safety or linebacker where he has the athletic mismatch. And so he's able to outrun them in terms of, that's how I think about Luke. I don't look at depth chart and I don't look at names. I do not evaluate players that way. I evaluate players within the context of what scheme are we running and where are they in the progression read. And I like Luke in a progression read system as the 3rd wide receiver because of those kind of traits and how he plays. Like, he's very smart. Luke is a very smart, high IQ wide receiver that finds a way to get open. We don't call him Luke always open McCaffrey for nothing. He is finding the mismatch and exploiting it. And so just keep using him in that way. But Luke's never meant to be a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 because he does not have the athleticism or full route tree or anything, or the release moves or anything like that to really go up against other people's like quarterback 1 and quarterback 2. But I like him in a progression read system as the wide receiver 3 with a Chig, with a true pass catching tight end, because Chig is going to command some attention. So those are my ideas.
I'm with you on that. I've been saying use Luke, and Brady be trying to kill me. I'm trying to kill me. I'm like, you gotta use Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah,
you gotta use him. This man has in a career, he has 39 targets. He has 29 receptions. So again,
I was
He's
shocked at that.
efficient.
He's efficient and explosive. Like
Yeah,
when he
12
catches the ball, he gets like
Yeah.
mad yards. It's like
a career 12.8 average per reception. He averaged 18.5 last year.
yeah. My man
Like,
got short
along
hands.
of
He just don't
short
drop the ball.
hands,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
fumbles, no lost fumbles, no giveaways, no nothing. And he only played 9 games last season.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He played 9, and most of it
I
came
think
on
he was
special
gonna
teams.
blow his productivity up if he didn't get injured because he
Yeah.
was starting to really find his way.
Yeah, because
And it's kind of like that's why I said Alec Pierce gives me Luke McCaffrey vibes. We gonna see this year, Alec Pierce, because now you at the top of the scouting report and they about to roll that coverage your way, and you're going up against a cornerback one. And I don't think he got it like that. But I'm glad he was able to cash in and get his bag. Good for you, buddy.
Luke in 2025, and we'll start to wrap things up, had 11 receptions for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was on pace for a Kayshon Boutte year, because Boutte in 2025, 33 for 551 and 6. He was on pace for that.
Yeah.
So
that's good for your wide receiver 3, in my opinion. I don't need
it's
Luke
great
to
for
get
your
1,000
4
yards. That's good productivity coming out of a wide receiver 3. And then, like I said, Jalen Lane's a gadget guy. Then kind of like you got your possession receivers, I like the room. I'm not even gonna lie. I like the room, given how I'm hearing out how the new scheme is going to shake out. I like the room and the progression read. I like the room when you're using motion concepts and man beaters. Cliff's scheme is not wide receiver friendly. You can't not just line people up in the same place all the time. Like, come on, man. So I like the room, but I'm not opposed to bringing one more in. So
no,
2 things can be true. Y'all can like the potential of the room and still want one more.
Yeah. I mean, we said this last week on defenses. It's better, but can always improve.
Yeah.
So
that should always be the mindset at the end of the day. How can we constantly seek to elevate, right? There's a balance of constantly seeking to elevate and then draft and develop. And we have to find that sweet spot, but it can't be through the lens of just wanting to constantly bring in big names or a lot of people's comfort is just, you don't know the names. And then y'all let outside voices dictate how you feel about the team. Y'all let people tell y'all that we have a sucky supporting cast. Cause y'all constantly online just taking in stuff from other people. I just don't do that because I watch the team play and I watch everybody else's team play. And I don't mean no harm that everybody else's team don't have a room full of elite receivers. Most of these NFL teams got 1 or 2, and that's it.
And it's really only one. Cincinnati has Jamar and T. Eagles had
ain't enough
Devontae
football to go around.
Yeah.
You can't
Dallas
feed everybody.
has George and CD. You can't feed everybody.
You can't feed everybody.
If you want to say the most elite duos, it's Jamar and T. It's George and CD. It's AJ and Devonta. And then you figure out who you make.
And then AJ about to be off the team. And I'm telling you right now,
Facts.
George Pickens is going to be too expensive. And so they renting him on that tag for a couple years because, again, David Mulugeta is his agent. He's going to go get his bag. He's not letting him take no team-friendly deal. And Jerry's not paying 2 wide receivers $30 million. There's no GM paying T Higgins should be a $30 million wide receiver. But because they bundled his contract negotiation, he's got the same agent as Jamar Chase. They worked it out where he came in a little under $30 million. No GM in their right mind is paying 2 wide receivers $30 million. You are very rarely going to have 2 elite wide receivers on the same team. So we got to let it go.
They on that narcotic.
Yeah. Nobody got that kind of money.
on that good white stuff.
Yeah, they paying edge rushers $50 million a year. It's over for that. The edge rushers getting expensive. They making quarterback money. Now we're not doing all that.
maybe I go back to school and get into football shape because if I can make some of this bread, maybe I will.
Yeah.
No, I won't. I really won't. I really won't. I got out of school for a reason.
Yeah.
Can't go back.
No, can't go back once you leave school.
Go back.
And congratulations to you on graduating too, John.
Thank you.
I know.
Oh, 6
years. Working hard on that.
6 years was plenty. I ain't going back. Ain't no way. I'm not going back. Can't make me go back. I'm not going back. I can't do it. Can't do it back. But this was fun. This was fantastic. This was a great conversation. Like
Thanks for
I
inviting
had
me.
good fun on this one. No,
Yeah,
thank you for coming.
no problem. Anytime. Hopefully, it didn't go too long, but usually I think about an hour. Like that's usually how my
Yeah.
videos go. I told you I can
Yeah,
yap.
that's it. Hey, as long as it's me not yapping most of the video, I'm A-okay with it.
All right, no problem. But yeah, I look forward to the next one. So again, thanks for
Yeah.
inviting me to the channel. I've been waiting. You know, I'm an OG follower of yours. So
Oh, yes.
you're my draft guy. So you know.
I need to get started on this 2027 class. I got plenty of time this summer, so I gotta start pumping some of this draft content out
Nice,
soon.
nice. All right.
It's gonna be the dog days of summer, so we are here for it. But guys, on your way out, hit the subscribe button here on BIB. Head over to Ages Analysis, give her a subscribe. She is at 1.35 thousand subscribers already. So y'all keep subbing her up. Sub us here at BIB. We on the road trying to get now to her already. We had just under 1,100. I'm trying to get to 15. Trying to catch some of these people up who have been here for 6 months, and I'm like, I've been here 3 years. I feel like so it's been rough in YouTube streets. Hit that subscribe button, guys. On your way out, hit the like button. Then comment down below. Who might you want to bring in? Are you comfortable with the wide receiver room? And what is your big idea that it can improve this team? Because like we said, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to eat, whether it's in the content space or in the NFL roster, because people are getting paid regardless.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments. Subscribe on your way out. Raise hail. And don't forget to stay ballin'. We will see y'all out there. Peace.